Years ago, a new face stepped into the R&B scene with a smooth voice and a pretty face that made ladies scream. He became popular pretty quickly and soon gathered thousands of fans. His 2014 debut album, Testimony, peaked at number 2 on the Billboard 200, and he went on to win both Best New Artist and the Coca-Cola Viewer's Choice accolades at the 2014 BET Awards. His fans began speculating he might become the next big thing after Chris Brown, but that conversation died as quickly as his career. That new face was August Alsina. August Alsina has suffered a very tragic life. From drug addictions to losing his sight to falling off a stage and being involved in a scandal that shook the world, August's path to success was halted by a series of unfortunate events that can break even the strongest hearts. But his troubles can be traced way back to his childhood. Tragic childhood. August Alsina was not born in August. He was born on September 3, 1992, but the month of August would become significant to him later. But that puzzle is part of the tragedies this video will unravel. Little August was not born into privilege. He and his siblings were born into struggle, and they grew up in downtown New Orleans, in an area August describes as the murder capital. His mother, Sheila, was married twice. She had 4 children besides August: Melvin, Travis, Jamal, and Nietzsche. Unfortunately, out of the 5, August, Travis, Nietzsche, and Jamal are the only ones still alive. Sheila was a hustler. She was a dental assistant and still had to take on 2 different jobs to make ends meet. According to USA Today, August's father was an addict.
I come from it. I come from my family being destroyed by drug addiction and all that shit. So
his addiction became so bad that his mother packed everything they had and moved away. But her next husband, August's stepdad, was worse. Their marriage was very unstable, and they fought all the time. August has always been very vocal about his father and stepdad's addiction. In an interview with Billboard, he explained that he had to become used to moving as a child. One minute, he might find himself in a comfortable home with electricity and TV, but the next day, he would find himself without. When they relocated to Texas with his stepfather, the singer and songwriter said that he had hoped it would be a better place, and he would be free from exposure to drugs. But his stepfather got even worse. In a chat with Complex in 2013, he hinted at his father's violent tendencies when he mentioned that his father's addiction often took over his whole body, and that he didn't have control over any other part of his body. Unfortunately, his father died on December 15, 2005, before they could repair their relationship. But that would be August Fern's many tragic losses. Early career. As a child, August's only solace was the church. He went every Sunday with his mother and enjoyed the hymns and choir presentations. But his love for music and singing did not start there. His love was born after watching the 1993 film Sister Act Tuleku. In that movie, he watched Lauryn Hill sing His Eyes on the Sparrow. Something about the melody and that harmonious voice made him want to pick up a mic, but he couldn't because he was not sure he could actually sing. His mother wasn't either, and she told him he was out of his mind when he told her about his dream. August badly wanted to convince her, so he grabbed her hymn books and sang for her. His gimmick worked. Sheila was so impressed, she promised to support him 100%. August's confidence was boosted, and he began singing all the time. He fell in love with many musicians, but his personal favorites were Lyfe Jennings, Birdman, Lil Wayne, and Juvenile, and he even dreamt of singing with them. One of his mother's first investments in his dreams was a web camera that 14-year-old August was so proud of. He immediately opened a YouTube channel where he uploaded videos of him singing. At first, no one watched, but soon he amassed hundreds of thousands of views. However, social media is a mirage. So even though he was growing on YouTube and was now known by many, nothing changed in his life. He was still terribly broke, and his family was far from stable. As if his problems were not already too much, he lost something very precious to him: His relationship with his mother. No one knows exactly what caused the crash of their tight relationship, but only 2 years after getting him a camera, his supportive mother kicked him out of her house. At that point, August had had it with his dysfunctional family. While explaining his come-up to Complex, he told his host that it was at that moment he decided to completely unlatch from his family and their woes and begin charging his own course. In his words, "It can't get worse than this. I'm just gonna be F-word homeless." He packed up his things and his ego and moved in with one of his friends. He so badly wanted to be better that he tried to remain in school, but he finally dropped out because he didn't have a uniform. And so, another terrible part of his life began. Grief. The devil always keeps idle hands busy with harmful jobs, and he had a few ideas for August. The first terrible idea was selling hard substances. The second terrible idea was moving back to New Orleans, the murder capital. It didn't seem like a terrible idea then to August, since his favorite brother, Melvin LeBranche, lived there with his girlfriend and daughters. New Orleans had a bad reputation for being the home of crimes and people who loved to live a fast life. Even kids sold hard substances, and murders were as common as the moon. One day, while moaning about life, Melvin told him, "Man, this is New Orleans. We're not supposed to live past 25. August would never have guessed that that ironic speech would be one of the last times he would speak to his brother. On the last day of August 2010, Melvin was on his way home and was already a block away when a bullet struck his head and died. He died at the age of 24, fulfilling his earlier statement. August's life shattered before his eyes. He mourned with his brother's girlfriend, Chandra, and his 3 nieces. Melvin's death shocked August to his core. He realized how bleak life really was, and while still mourning, he decided to run away from New Orleans and transform his entire life. He told Respect website that his brother's death was the wake-up call he needed. In an interview with Complex, he added, "So at that point, I was like, man, I'm out here. This is what happened to him. So it's what's going to happen to me the same way. I was just like..." He immediately left the street, left drugs, and began to pursue music full-time. To make his new life even more difficult, his female cousin blamed him squarely for his brother's death, and, in a very unusual act of transparency, August uploaded the text messages he received from her, which were filled with many expletives. Growing career, but he didn't allow himself to be pulled back to his family's toxicity. According to Fodder, he moved to Atlanta and stayed with a friend for a few months before he could save some money to pay for studio time. He visited the studio regularly, working on his first mixtape and hoping it would take him down the path of his dreams. He was so determined that he managed to become a good manager, but his biggest dream at the time was to get signed to Cash Money Records. As if his hard work was being rewarded, his new manager had a good relationship with Birdman and managed to play some of August's music to the record owner. Birdman was so impressed with his music that he agreed to meet young August about 3 times, but none of those meetings produced anything substantial. August told Complex that they seemed interested in signing him, but took way too long in making it official, and he was too eager to hit the ground running. So when Def Jam showed interest in him, he did not resist their offers. The owner of Def Jam told August that she had been watching him on YouTube ever since he began making videos at 14. In 2011, August officially signed with them, and the very next year, he released his first mixtape, The Product. August was not very proud of this record, and even confessed that he only pieced together other people's beats and infused his lyrics into the result. August didn't repeat this in his next mixtape in 2013. He took his time and released a record that soon became the #1 on the Billboard mainstream R&B hip-hop chart. The mixtape was titled I Love This, and he featured Trinidad James. This song did not only top the Billboard chart, it also won the Viewer's Choice Awards at the BET Awards, and he was also made the Best New Artist. Riding on this new wave, he released yet another mixtape in the Product 2 That same year in May, and an EP just 3 months later, his EP rose to number 68 on the Billboard 200 before it finally fell. With this new fame, Birdman finally cracked, and the exec jumped on his "I Love This" remix. This song was such a hit, and soon, August gathered even more fans. His old ones were riled up excitedly, and they began hassling him for more. They hassled him so much that he finally dropped his first studio album the very next year in 2014. The album, Testimony, was a hit. It gathered so many streams within days, and critics even gave favorable reviews. It debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200, and Billboard also sold 67,000 copies in its first week in the US. It was eventually certified gold. August's path to success was becoming so clear. He was even named an elite member of XXL's freshman class of 2014. He also signed to be the opening act for the North American leg of Usher's You Are tour. He became an international act and a worldwide success, and everyone began comparing him to other popular hip-hop artists such as Chris Brown and Justin Bieber. His name popped up in many conversations, and he was beginning to rake in millions. But all of that soon crashed in one night. Tragic health. After singing on stage with the 2 Chainz on the Older Artist Tour, August announced his own concert, and in 2014, he flagged off his very first tour. Everything was going quite well, and fans showed up at every concert until he got to New York. At the Irving Plaza, the music was booming, and August was singing to the crowd when he suddenly went limp and slumped. He had a terrible fall from the stage and into the crowd, and the paramedics were called immediately. Video footage of the incident showed the singer struggling to stay on his feet before his knees completely buckled, sending him into the nearby photography pit. But Alsina managed to wave to his fans as he was taken out of the venue on a stretcher. The news spread wide, and while many left prayers for the young superstar, some speculated he was suffering the effects of drugs. Days after the incident, his management finally reached out to XL and reported that he was still in the ICU and was being treated for seizures. A report from the doctor stated that exhaustion and dehydration were the most likely cause of the tragedy. Everyone was beginning to heave a sigh of relief when they learned August had been in a coma for 3 whole days. He later explained in The Breakfast Club that he was constantly putting others before him, and the exhaustion from doing so had finally crept up on him in the worst way. A young, healthy man who had never had seizures ended up having to fight through 10 of them. August's strength of character is unrivaled, and the doctors, in his case, fought really hard to save him. But his biggest help came from a vision he saw while in a coma. August said it himself that he had seen his late brother. Somehow, that vision made him know that he's okay. But his health issues were only just beginning. Life was about to throw even more balls at him and test him yet again. There's a reason why August often wears a pair of shades, and it's not to look cool. Just a few months after surviving what should have been the worst period of his time, August woke up blind. Probably in a panic, he made an Instagram post telling his fans that he was blind in his left eye, and the only eye he was using to see was slowly losing vision too. August was immediately rushed into the ER and had to endure a thorough surgery. He was diagnosed with a degenerative eye condition called keratoconus. Speaking to Billboard about this ordeal later that same year, Alsina admitted that he initially went into denial. He even saw a few other doctors, hoping for a different diagnosis, but their diagnosis didn't change, and he eventually had to accept it. In a chat on the Angie Martinez show, he explained that he had to get as far as accepting a procedure that was not yet FDA approved in the United States to help prevent the disease from quickly worsening. But he also expressed that his respect for all aspects of life had improved. He said, "So many times, we take stuff like eyesight for granted because it's so natural. We wake up and we see, we wake up and we walk. It's just so natural to us. So for me, to not be able to see for 2 to 3 days straight, it was hell." You will think life would allow this tragic young man to catch a breath after this, but that is not what happened. Just 6 months after his Instagram post, in November 2015, August sat with the Breakfast Club to promote his new album. Since some of his songs were about his mental health and family, he answered a number of questions about them. He told the host that his relationship with his mother had not improved, but had instead become worse. Sometimes they go without merely speaking for years.
Not having a mother to talk to. My father is dead. I don't have nobody, you know what I'm saying, to teach me. So, like I said,
His answers were very eye-opening to the public, but to his mother, they were aggravating. Sheila took to social media almost immediately and called out her own son in the worst way. She accused him of lying in the interview to promote his album. She also accused him of being the main source of their strained relationship. She told the public that August hadn't bothered to call her on Mother's Day, nor had he called on her birthday. Public opinion might have been on her side if she hadn't also accused him of not calling after he was discharged from the hospital. To add more flames to the fire, August posted text messages from another family member accusing him of allowing fame to get to his head. But none of these family dramas could stop focused August from releasing his second studio album, This Thing Called Life, in December 2015. It was one of his best productions, and he got to work with some of his favorite artists, such as Lil Wayne and Chris Brown. This album immediately became a favorite amongst the fans. It peaked at number 14 on the Billboard 200 and was fingered as one of the best R&B albums of the year by Rolling Stone. But you know what else peaked? His problems. More tragic events. August's health continued to fail, and he managed to keep private about it until May 2017. It is assumed that his new friend, Jada Pinkett Smith, convinced him to pour out her heart to her in a public interview. Because he was really expressive about all his health struggles when he sat with her, August appeared calm while he explained he was battling with liver disease and a failing immune system that was fighting him instead of diseases. Just 2 months later, things got even worse. August woke to the realization that he had lost feeling in his legs. He was so terrified he was immediately admitted to a hospital. The doctors diagnosed him with Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is a rare disorder in which your body's immune system attacks your nerves. He said it was like his immune system had gone on vacation, but he still seemed to be in good spirits. He even joked that he had just received a new car while pointing the camera toward his hospital walker. In truth, Alsina struggled to take in the diagnosis because he was becoming so overwhelmed, but he eventually accepted it after learning from his father's mother and sister that it was hereditary. They explained to him that sickness and illness runs in his family. He said, "My father and grandfather both died of severe illness, but they were fighters, and that's all that matters. I'd really like to talk about it, and I'm not looking for anybody's sympathy." 2 months later, Alsina updated his followers about his situation. "My doctors have started me on my IV antibody immunotherapy. In short form, it's sort of like chemo, but instead for my immune system. Only in this case, not killing the cells, but encouraging my nervous system and body to rebuild." Fans were sympathetic, but that didn't stop his career from suffering. For one thing, he had to cancel his appearance at the 2017 Essence Festival. But August did everything to fight for his career, which was everything he had ever wanted. Even with his condition, he announced that his third studio album was in the works, and fans became hysterical with excitement. But that album never dropped. In November of 2017, August reported that Def Jam was sitting on his album and had refused to drop it. Not even the intervention from his fans could force Def Jam's hand. Addiction and rumors. While all this was happening, August had another interview with Jada where he spoke on something he had never hinted at before addiction. But this was not addiction to complex substances, it was addiction to painkillers. His doctor placed him on a series of Percocet, a painkiller after he fell off the stage in 2014, and August soon became addicted to them. He said he was popping them like they were mere Skittles. It got so bad that August had to reach out to people for help, and the closest people to him at the time were the Smiths. He would soon regret that decision, But in that interview, Jada assured him she would always be there to hold his hands through his struggles. She also spoke of all the many times she and her family had been there for him. August seemed so grateful. He said her concern was a reality check for him. If someone can love him so much that it hurts them, it should bother him too. But that interview also raised multiple questions. Many people raised eyebrows at the relationship dynamic between the older woman and August, and rumors of a relationship began circulating. But August immediately shut the rumors down. He told the public that Jada was the best friend everyone should pray to have, and that she had been such a rock for him. This is one of the many things August will come to regret: sudden fatherhood. There is a speculation that life itself doesn't like to see August happy. Just when he was settling into his new life again, tragedy struck again. Chandra, his brother's girlfriend, died from cancer. Before she finally died of the terminal illness, she had teased August about becoming a father. In a text to him, she said, "All this time, you've been running from being a parent, from having kids, and now you're forced to." When she finally died, August took the hint. In an Instagram post, he announced that he had finally become a father. He expressed he loved his nieces so much and was ready to become their legal guardian. He said, "They are beautiful kids with beautiful energy. I'm excited to see life unfold for them, and I want to be as present as I possibly can within their life, while still being able to show them what it looks like to have a career." Alsina, who described the trio as his Naughters, also disclosed that he was ready for whatever life had for him and them. He just plays the cards life deals him while trying to figure everything out. Homelessness. One of the cards he had to endure came from doctors. Before he was finally diagnosed, many of them didn't believe his sickness was real. He told Vulture in 2020 that a year earlier, he had checked himself into the hospital twice with crippling pain, only to be sent home without any proper treatment. On his second visit, he even showed up in a wheelchair and with his face swollen, yet they checked him out again. They didn't even give him any medicine. He was only taken seriously on his third attempt when he was referred to a larger hospital for a neurological examination. There, it was discovered that he could have been dead, because by the time he got to the bigger hospital, the doctor told him that his respiratory system was shutting down. Another card he had to endure reminded him of his past. August became broke. He was so broke, he couldn't even pay his rent. So in August 2019, August was kicked out of his home. This time, it was not his mother, but a disgruntled landlord chasing him away. As revealed in papers that found their way to the blast, Alsina was told to leave his 7-bathroom, 6-bedroom Ventura County mansion after falling behind on his rent. According to owner Robert Howard, the singer was behind on $20,000 in rent. After failing to pay March's rent, he was given a 3-day debt collection notice. But when he still couldn't pay, Howard decided to take the R&B star to court over the dispute. But August's career finally took a fatal hit in 2020 when he found himself caught up in one of the greatest scandals in the music industry. Biggest scandal. It all started in April 2019 when he released his video for the remix to Kalani's song. In the video, viewers noticed the contact's name. In the text messages was listed as Quran, which is Jada Smith's middle name. In that video, Quran accused him in a text of being with another woman, and August replied, "Why is you texting me? You're just an actress." When he saw speculations online that the video was a sub to Jada, he immediately took to his Instagram to deny the claims. He insisted that he and Jada were still on good terms. Well, while that drama seemed to pass, and while he was still celebrating finally getting his GED and releasing a new single today, the drama became hotter, and it was him who stoked the flames. He pretty much broke the internet when he finally confessed to the Breakfast Club host Angela Yee that the rumors of their relationship were right, and he had indeed had an affair with the married Jada Pinkett Smith. From the way he described it, their relationship had been deep. He even claimed to have devoted himself to it so much that he could die and be okay with knowing that he truly gave himself to somebody.
being so judgmental because you don't know what people are dealing with. People are not junkies just to be junkies.
But he shouldn't have. That admission caused a major uproar on the internet. People were so shocked that he confessed to being with a married woman, and not just any woman, but Will Smith's woman. To make it even worse, Jada immediately cast him as a liar and outrightly dismissed his claims. August's reputation took a terrible hit, and he lost thousands of fans. Towards the end of 2020, the drama thickened even more. In a very weird twist, Jada Smith finally admitted on her own talk show, The Red Table Talk, that she indeed had an affair with August. She referred to that affair as an entanglement. And till date, that is all August is known for, and not his music career. Even though Jada finally revealed in October 2023 that August couldn't have been a homewrecker, since she and her husband Will Smith were separated at the time, the damage had already been done. That drama ruined what was left of his career. Speaking to Vulture that same year, Alsina explained how terrible it was. He said, "People looked at me as this problematic guy who was super reckless, like I'm pushing up on someone's wife. It started to F-word with my partnerships and business relationships and money because of people seeing me as this reckless guy who's like publicly announcing his love and pushing up on somebody's wife." He claimed he would likely retire in 2021, but has since continued to release new music. In the caption of an Instagram video post on September 20th, 2021, Alsina wrote, "These last couple projects are likely to be the last you see cha hear of August Alsina. W. Hood. That said, it is my hope that we can enjoy each other while I'm here, on my last victory lap around the sun." Fans imagined that the post meant that Alsina would be stepping back from music because of his health issues or the responsibilities of raising his nieces. However, Alsina has continued to release new music online, including a song titled "Shake the World" in April 2022 and "Yeah Yeah" in July 2022, which has failed to become as popular as his first releases. Final scandal. His final scandal happened in 2022 when he was allegedly assaulted by Tory Lanez. August, who is very expressive on social media, uploaded several photos of himself on Instagram looking bloodied and bruised. He also claimed that the R&B star, Tory Lanez, was responsible for his injuries. He claimed that Lanez, along with 8 security guards, invaded his personal space after leaving a show and then asked why he was being ignored. Alsina explained to his followers that he didn't appreciate Lanez's previous comments about his romantic entanglement with Jada Pinkett Smith, adding that he was a fan of him and didn't understand him speaking on my business publicly. According to Alsina, Lanez then sucker punched him while he was attempting to make his exit. There was never a fight, simply an assault, he declared. Lanez refuted this version of events, but he turned out to be the liar, and he was later booted off the Fallback in Love comedy and music jam tour after impresario Rip Michaels told TMZ that he had witnessed the incident. Lanez was also ordered under house arrest because the scuffle had violated previous bail conditions. Since then, August has tried to keep a low profile and try different things to stay afloat. In June 2022, Alsina announced on Instagram that he was launching his own skincare line, Encina Wellness. Encina is a Spanish word for holm oak, which is one of the primary ingredients in his products. He credited his health issues and the different insecurities he suffered when he was sick for inspiring the skin line. He has also continued to release new music, including a 2023 album titled Myself. He's even posted videos of his performances on Instagram, including a March concert in New Orleans and an August show in Atlanta.